Alright, we're about to be building a side table grow box here. Some of the things that you see, if you go out and buy a little table like this, some of the things that you see through these videos may not work exactly for your situation. If you want one exactly like this, you can order it from our website. You can just check out our website, but we're about to be building a grow box like this. I'll put a picture up. So the first thing we're going to do here is, I'm not going to go over all the parts in the box here. You're going to see that as we go through the project. But I've got the first three parts that we're going to need. These are actually make up the drawers of the cabinet. And you want to make sure that you line them up to where all of the holes are on the same direction. You wouldn't want to have one like this, because then your handles are going to be off-centered. So basically we're going to flip these over, and we're going to use some brackets we have here to fasten them together. Now it's key as you do this part that this line right here, that on one side that you have all of these boards extremely flush, because in the end this is where the door of the box is going to swing open, and so if it's not flush, if it's off-centered like that, then it becomes very difficult to try to light-proof this. So what we're going to do is, I've got some brackets like this, and basically I'm going to put one bracket or two brackets on it to connect each board like so, and make sure that this stays flush. I'm going to show you one, and then we'll turn the camera off. Alright, so now that I see that this is nice and flush, I put this bracket in place, and I take my Sharpie marker, and right in the center of the hole I just put a dot. Now it's important to remember that if you put your dots in the perfect spot and you drill on those dots, then it's going to hold the bracket in the right spot. So I can actually remove this now. Alright, and then now after I have my dots, basically I just have a pilot. I'm using a very small bit to make a pilot hole. I'm just going to put it directly on the dots that I drew, and just give it something for the screw to start off in. Now I'm going to take a screw. Now you can't use the screws that actually come with these brackets because they're too long. They'll actually bust through the front side. So I've got some 1/2 inch size 6 screws that we're going to be using. Put this back in line where it was. Just like that. And we'll be back as soon as I get these other three fastened. Alright, I just finished putting this piece on right here, and I messed up, and I wanted to show you this before I moved on. If you'll notice here, the gap is really, there's not much of a gap right here. It's real small, and it's getting larger and larger, so that the gap is larger on this side. We don't want that. We want it to be nice and equal all the way across. So all we're going to do is, I'm just going to take this bracket off, and I'm just going to move the whole thing over a little bit and re-drill to make sure that at each step we need to make sure that we're being precise with our measurements, and we'll be right back when we get done with that. Okay, now we've got these two brackets on. As you can see, I just moved this over, and now we have a nice even crack right here. Before we attach this top board, what you want to do is you want to pull out one of your side walls and put it up right next to the doors that you're dealing with, the drawer doors, so that you can make sure that you have a nice flush line here. Also, to make sure that you're not putting so much of a gap that it's going to be longer, that your drawers are going to be longer than the walls. So once we have that nice and lined up, I'm going to put my other two brackets on right here, make my red lines with my red dots, and as soon as we get these drilled and screwed, we'll see you in a minute.